Have you ever wondered how a single battle in the heart of a scorching desert could alter the course of history? Imagine being on the edge of a crucial battle where a young nation's future is at stake and bravery meets strategy in a fight for survival. This is the Battle of Yamama, where the sands turned red and heroes were made. Let us find out more about this extraordinary battle in today's video. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, Naseeha Studio. In this video, we will be talking about one of the greatest battles of Islam ever fought, the Battle of Yamama. The year was 632 AD. The Arabian Peninsula was in turmoil. The Prophet Muhammad had passed away, and the newly formed Islamic State was under threat. Tribes that had once pledged allegiance to Islam were now rebelling, claiming their independence. Among these rebellious tribes was the powerful Banu Hanifa, led by the charismatic but false prophet Musaylima. The heart of his power was the fortified city of Yamama, a strategic and fertile region in central Arabia. Caliph Abu Bakr, the first Caliph of the Rashidun Caliphate, recognized the danger posed by Musaylima. He assembled a formidable army under the command of Khalid ibn al-Walid, one of Islam's greatest generals. Their mission was clear: to crush the rebellion and restore unity to the Islamic State. Khalid's army marched across the harsh desert, enduring the blistering sun and scarcity of water. The soldiers knew the stakes were high. Failure was not an option. As they neared Yamama, the tension grew. The final confrontation was imminent. Setting the stage, Yamama was no ordinary city. It was a fortress surrounded by high walls, its fertile land a stark contrast to the surrounding desert. Musaylima, known as the Liar Prophet, had amassed a considerable following. His influence spread like wildfire, fueled by promises of power and prosperity. His forces were well prepared, entrenched within the city's defenses, ready to repel any attack. Khalid ibn al-Walid, renowned for his military genius, knew that defeating Musaylima would require more than brute force. His strategy had to be meticulous. As the Muslim army camped on the outskirts of Yamama, Khalid held council with his generals, devising plans to breach the city's formidable defenses. The air was thick with anticipation. Soldiers sharpened their swords, whispered prayers, and prepared for the battle ahead. Scouts brought back reports of Musaylima's fortifications, detailing the challenges that lay before them. The city loomed in the distance, a silent reminder of the formidable task that awaited. Amid the preparation, stories of past battles circulated among the troops, tales of bravery and sacrifice meant to inspire courage. Khalid himself walked among his men, offering words of encouragement, his presence a source of strength. The stage was set for an epic confrontation. The fate of the Islamic State hung in the balance, and every soldier knew that the outcome of this battle would echo through the annals of history. As dawn broke over the desert, the Muslim army stood ready, determined to face whatever challenges lay ahead in the quest to secure the future of their fledgling nation. Conflict arises. The air was tense as news of Musaylima's growing power spread. His claim to prophethood and promises of riches attracted many followers, turning the Banu Hanifa tribe into a formidable force. Musaylima's message, though false, resonated with those discontented with the new Islamic State. Caliph Abu Bakr, recognizing the threat, knew that swift action was necessary. He had to consolidate the Muslim territories and quash this rebellion before it could undermine the unity and stability of the young caliphate. He summoned his generals and outlined the mission. Yamama must be reclaimed and Musaylima's influence eradicated. Khalid ibn al-Walid, the Sword of Allah, was chosen to lead this critical campaign. Known for his unparalleled military prowess and strategic acumen, Khalid was the ideal commander for this mission. His reputation as an invincible warrior preceded him, and his presence instilled confidence in the ranks of the Muslim army. Khalid wasted no time. He rallied his troops, comprising seasoned fighters and new recruits, and set off towards Yamama. The journey was arduous, with the harsh desert landscape testing their endurance. Yet, their resolve remained unbroken. Each step brought them closer to a confrontation that would determine the future of the Islamic State. As they approached Yamama, Khalid dispatched scouts to gather intelligence on the enemy's fortifications and troop movements. The reports painted a daunting picture. Musaylima's forces were well entrenched, their defenses robust. The city's high walls and strategic positions made it a challenging target. Despite the odds, Khalid was undeterred. He devised a plan to outmaneuver Musaylima's forces. His strategy involved a combination of direct assaults and tactical diversions aimed at weakening the enemy's stronghold. The element of surprise and Khalid's unyielding leadership would be their key advantages. Within Yamama, Musaylima prepared his followers for the impending battle. He bolstered their spirits with fiery speeches, promising victory and divine favor. His army, though confident, knew the reputation of the approaching Muslim forces. The tension within the city mirrored that of the advancing army, each side readying for a clash that would decide their fate. The stage was set, and the conflict was about to erupt. The desert sands would soon be witness to a battle of epic proportions, where bravery, strategy, and faith would collide in a struggle for dominance. The Battle of Yamama was about to begin, and its outcome would reverberate through history. March to Yamama. The journey to Yamama was a test of endurance and resolve. Khalid ibn al-Walid led his army across the vast and unforgiving desert. The scorching sun blazed overhead, and the dry, arid air sapped the soldiers' strength. Supplies were scarce, and the harsh terrain offered little respite. Despite the hardships, Khalid's leadership kept the army's spirits high. His presence was a constant reminder of their purpose and the importance of their mission. He rode at the front, a symbol of unwavering determination, his eyes fixed on the distant horizon where Yamama lay. The army moved in disciplined formations, a testament to Khalid's strategic planning. Scouts were sent ahead to ensure the path was clear and to gather any intelligence on enemy movements. The information they brought back was vital, allowing Khalid to adjust his plans and prepare for any eventuality. At night, the soldiers would rest under the starry sky, sharing stories of their past battles and the loved ones they left behind. These moments of camaraderie strengthened their bonds, turning a diverse group of men into a unified force. They knew that each step brought them closer to the battle that would decide the fate of their fledgling nation. As they approached Yamama, the tension grew palpable. The once distant city now loomed closer, its walls visible on the horizon. The scouts reported back with news of Musaylima's fortifications and the strength of his forces. The city was well prepared, with fortified defenses and a sizable army ready to defend it. Khalid called his generals together, outlining the final strategy. His plan was bold, relying on speed and the element of surprise. He divided his forces, planning simultaneous attacks from multiple fronts to overwhelm Musaylima's defenses. Each division had a specific role, and coordination was crucial to their success. The soldiers prepared for the upcoming battle, sharpening their weapons and readying their armor. Prayers were whispered, seeking strength and protection. The night before the battle was filled with a mix of anticipation and resolve. Every man knew the significance of what lay ahead. Failure was not an option. As dawn broke, the Muslim army stood ready. The march to Yamama had tested their physical and mental limits, but they were united in their purpose. The city lay before them, and the final confrontation was imminent. Khalid raised his sword, a signal to his troops, and the order to advance was given. The march to Yamama was over. The battle was about to begin. The soldiers moved forward with a single thought in their minds: to secure victory and ensure the future of the Islamic State. The sands of Yamama were about to witness a clash that would echo through the ages. The battle begins. The first light of dawn broke over the desert, casting long shadows on the fortified walls of Yamama. Khalid ibn al-Walid, with his sword raised high, signaled the commencement of the assault. The Muslim army, fueled by resolve and faith, surged forward, their battle cries piercing the morning air. Arrows flew through the sky, a deadly rain that marked the beginning of the battle. The clatter of metal against metal, the shouts of warriors, and the thundering of hooves filled the air. The initial charge was met with fierce resistance. Musaylima's forces, well entrenched and prepared, defended their stronghold with unwavering determination. Khalid's strategy unfolded as planned. He had divided his army into several units, each with a specific target. The first wave aimed to weaken the outer defenses, drawing the enemy's attention and stretching their lines thin. The archers unleashed a relentless barrage, covering the advancing infantry and cavalry. The initial clashes were brutal. The narrow streets and fortified gates of Yamama turned into fierce battlegrounds. Khalid, leading from the front, fought with unparalleled ferocity, his presence inspiring his men to push forward despite the formidable defenses. The walls of Yamama became the backdrop for acts of immense bravery and sacrifice. Amid the chaos, Khalid's tactical brilliance shone. He maneuvered his troops with precision, adapting to the changing tides of battle. His commanders executed their orders flawlessly, each maneuver designed to exploit weaknesses in the enemy's defenses. The simultaneous attacks from multiple fronts began to take their toll on Musaylima's forces. Musaylima, within the city, rallied his warriors, urging them to hold their ground. His presence bolstered the morale of his troops, who fought with desperation to defend their leader and their city. The battle became a test of endurance and willpower, with neither side willing to concede an inch. As the day wore on, the Muslim army's persistence started to show results. Khalid's men breached the outer defenses, pushing deeper into the city. The narrow alleyways and fortified positions became scenes of intense hand-to-hand combat. The resolve of the Muslim soldiers was unshakable. They fought with the knowledge that their victory was crucial for the survival of their state. The streets of Yamama ran red with the blood of fallen warriors. The battle was a gruesome testament to the high stakes involved. Despite the heavy casualties, Khalid's forces pressed on, their determination unwavering. The momentum began to shift in their favor as Musaylima's forces struggled to maintain their defensive positions. Khalid's relentless assault left Musaylima's army increasingly fragmented and demoralized. The stronghold that once seemed impenetrable was gradually being overrun. As the sun began to set, the decisive phase of the battle approached. The Muslim army, now deep within Yamama, prepared for the final push to capture the city and bring an end to the rebellion. The Battle of Yamama had begun with a ferocious intensity. Both sides fought with everything they had, knowing that the outcome would shape the future of the Arabian Peninsula. The fate of the young Islamic State hung in the balance, and the sands of Yamama were the stage for this epic confrontation. First clashes. The initial clash was a thunderous collision of wills and weapons. Khalid ibn al-Walid led the charge, his soldiers following with unwavering resolve. The air was thick with the whistling of arrows and the clang of swords. The ground shook under the feet of warriors as they surged towards Yamama's formidable walls. The first line of attack met a hail of arrows from Musaylima's archers perched high on the city's walls. Shields were raised, forming a protective barrier, but many fell under the relentless barrage. Despite the losses, Khalid's forces pushed forward, their determination driving them through the storm of projectiles. At the forefront, Khalid's infantry clashed with Musaylima's defenders. The sound of steel on steel rang out as swords met shields and spears. The narrow gates of Yamama became choke points where the fighting was fiercest. The defenders, bolstered by the walls and their strategic positions, fought with a tenacity born of desperation. Khalid's strategy was to press hard on multiple fronts, spreading Musaylima's forces thin. The Muslim army attacked from all sides, trying to find weak points in the defenses. The intensity of the battle grew with each passing moment, and the sands around Yamama were stained with the blood of the fallen. Musaylima's warriors, driven by the fervor of defending their leader and their city, repelled the attackers with ferocity. They fought not just for survival, but for the belief in Musaylima's promise of prosperity and power. Each skirmish was a testament to their resolve to hold their ground. Within the chaos, acts of heroism were abundant. Muslim soldiers fought with unmatched bravery, inspired by Khalid's presence and leadership. The sight of their commander, a figure of legendary prowess, spurred them to fight with everything they had. Every inch gained was hard-won, paid for in sweat and blood. Despite the ferocious defense, Khalid's relentless assault began to show its effect. His strategic deployment of archers and infantry slowly but surely eroded the defenders' resolve. Small breaches were made in the outer defenses, allowing Khalid's forces to penetrate deeper into the city. Each breach, though small, was a significant victory, setting the stage for further advances. Musaylima's forces, realizing the growing threat, tried to regroup and mount counterattacks. These efforts led to intense close-quarter battles in the streets of Yamama. The narrow alleyways and fortified buildings became scenes of brutal, hand-to-hand combat. The defenders fought with desperation, knowing the fall of Yamama would spell the end of their rebellion. Khalid's army, undeterred by the fierce resistance, pressed on. Their discipline and training were evident as they maneuvered through the chaotic battlefield. Commanders relayed orders with precision, ensuring that the momentum of the attack was maintained. The resolve to see the battle through to victory was etched on every soldier's face. As the first clashes raged on, it became clear that this battle would be one of attrition and determination. The initial assaults had tested the mettle of both sides, setting the tone for the brutal conflict that lay ahead. Khalid's strategy was taking effect, but the battle was far from over. The struggle for Yamama had only just begun, and the fate of the Islamic State hung in the balance amidst the din of battle and the cries of warriors locked in mortal combat. A turning point. As the battle raged on, Khalid ibn al-Walid's strategy began to take effect. Hazrat Khalid bin Walid ordered a feigned retreat on one front, luring Musaylima's forces out of their fortified positions. Seizing the opportunity, Khalid launched a surprise attack from another direction, catching the defenders off guard. The sudden maneuver created chaos within Musaylima's ranks. The Muslim forces, now with a clear advantage, breached the city's outer defenses. Khalid's relentless pressure and tactical brilliance disrupted the cohesion of Musaylima's army. The tide of the battle turned as the Muslim warriors surged into the city, overwhelming the defenders. This pivotal moment shattered the resolve of Musaylima's forces, marking the beginning of the end for the false prophet and his rebellion. The fierce resistance. Despite the breaches in their defenses, Musaylima's forces fought with fierce determination. The narrow streets of Yamama became a deadly maze, with every corner a potential ambush. Musaylima's warriors, driven by their loyalty and desperation, launched counterattacks to reclaim lost ground. Muslim soldiers faced fierce resistance at every step, with Musaylima's forces using their intimate knowledge of the city to their advantage. The fortified buildings and alleyways became choke points, where close-quarters combat tested the mettle of every fighter. Musaylima himself moved among his troops, rallying them with fiery speeches and promises of victory. The defenders used every tactic at their disposal, from surprise attacks to defensive barricades, making the Muslim advance slow and costly. Khalid ibn al-Walid remained steadfast. He reorganized his forces, ensuring that the momentum of their assault was maintained. The Muslim army, driven by their faith and the leadership of Khalid, pushed forward relentlessly. The streets of Yamama echoed with the clash of swords and the cries of warriors as both sides fought with unwavering resolve. The fierce resistance of Musaylima's forces turned the city into a battleground, marked by acts of immense bravery and sacrifice. Every inch gained by Khalid's men came at a high price, but their determination never wavered. The struggle intensified, with the fate of Yamama and the Islamic State hanging in the balance. The decisive moment. The battle for Yamama reached its climax as Khalid ibn al-Walid's forces pushed deeper into the city. The relentless pressure from the Muslim army began to break the spirit of Musaylima's defenders. Despite their fierce resistance, the cracks in their resolve became apparent. In the heart of the city, amidst the chaos of battle, Khalid spotted a critical opportunity. He directed his elite unit towards the Garden of Death, a walled compound where Musaylima had made his final stand. The intense fighting concentrated here, with both sides knowing that the outcome of this confrontation would decide the battle. The Garden of Death turned into a scene of relentless combat. Muslim soldiers, driven by their faith and determination, clashed with Musaylima's most loyal followers. The air was thick with dust, and the cries of warriors locked in mortal struggle. Khalid's forces slowly gained ground, their superior strategy and unwavering resolve tipping the scales in their favor. The decisive moment came when Washi ibn Harb, a warrior renowned for his skill, managed to breach Musaylima's personal guard. With a well-aimed spear, Washi struck Musaylima down, killing the false prophet and delivering a fatal blow to the morale of his followers. With Musaylima's death, the resistance crumbled swiftly. The remaining defenders, seeing their leader fallen, lost their will to fight. Khalid's forces surged forward, overwhelming the last pockets of resistance and securing the city. The Battle of Yamama was won, marking a significant victory for the young Islamic State. This decisive moment not only ended the immediate threat posed by Musaylima, but also solidified the unity and stability of the Caliphate. The fall of Yamama underscored the effectiveness of Khalid's leadership and the determination of the Muslim army, ensuring the survival and expansion of the Islamic State in the years to come. Aftermath. The battle was over, but the cost was immense. Thousands lay dead, and the city of Yamama was left in ruins. The battlefield was a grim reminder of the fierce struggle that had taken place. Despite the heavy losses, the victory was a pivotal moment for the young Islamic State. The defeat of Musaylima and his forces marked the end of the major rebellions against the Caliphate, bringing a semblance of stability to the region. Significance. The Battle of Yamama was not just a military victory, it was a crucial step in consolidating the Islamic State. It demonstrated the strength and determination of the Caliphate to maintain unity and order. This victory reinforced the authority of Caliph Abu Bakr and showcased the effectiveness of his leadership and military strategy. The successful suppression of the rebellion set the stage for future expansions, paving the way for the spread of Islam across the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. The battle's legacy underscored the resilience and resolve of the Muslim community in the face of internal and external challenges. The sands of Yamama bore witness to a fierce struggle, one that shaped the course of history. The bravery and sacrifice of those who fought ensured the survival and growth of the Islamic State, paving the way for remarkable achievements in the years to come. The Battle of Yamama was a testament to the power of unity and the unwavering spirit of those who fought for their beliefs. The victory not only quelled a significant rebellion, but also solidified the foundation of the young caliphate, allowing it to flourish and expand. As we reflect on this pivotal moment, the legacy of the battle lives on. It serves as a reminder of the profound impact that a single conflict can have on the destiny of a nation. The courage and determination displayed at Yamama continue to inspire, highlighting the enduring strength and resilience of the Islamic State during its formative years. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more content celebrating the Islamic heritage. Your support really helps spread these important stories and teachings. We hope that Allah brings peace, happiness, and success to you and your family.